Greetings, cretins. My name is Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Micro Monday. We haven't done one of these in a while. That's me talking. The HDZERO goggles have a microphone in them. We are going to be putting DJI 03 into the Grinderino tonight. Well, we're going to do Q&A things, and we're going to talk shit, and then if there's any time left whatsoever, we're going to start putting 03 into the Grinderino. I don't know if we'll actually get it in there. It shouldn't be that difficult. As I found out with the Quadmilla F3 Siren split, the plug header and the wire location on walk snail is exactly the same as 03. And so there's a chance that we'll get it done. Or any number of insane DIY FPV things will happen that will prevent me from getting it mounted in there, or the cable won't be long enough for the camera, or the camera won't fit. You know, FPV stuff. the things that make FPV the most frustrating thing on earth, but that make us the weirdest group of Stockholm Syndrome people. You know? Am I right? You know I'm right. I finally got the, there's a CO3 McStinky. And, it's a little bit thinner and lighter weight than the other McStinkies. And boy, I have been having a hell of a time. Somebody did an Etsy order, and wanted, like, the 3 best, Tiny Whoop CO3 camera mounts. And so that means Brain, McStinky, and I forget the third one. I don't know what the third one is, but the McStinky was one of them. I got the other 2 printed totally fine last week, actually. But then this ultra lightweight McStinky, essentially, where the supports, where the tree supports were hooking up to the top of the inside, it kept ripping when I would remove that. And so I got some advice from some people, and I was finally able, just last night actually, to get it printed clean enough that I feel comfortable, like, sending it out to someone that, you know, paid $5 for it. And so, yeah, that was a bit of a slog. So yeah, Joshua, sorry for the delay, man, on your Etsy order, but it's finally good to go. And I found another CO3 canopy on Thingiverse that I just kind of threw in there. I don't think it's as good as the Brain or this one, but you know, I threw it in there in hopes that it'll take the sting off of how long you had to wait for your Etsy order. In the chat, FizzPV, just fair warning, I don't know what has happened today, but I just had a gigantic mental sort of crash over the course of the day today, and I feel absolutely horrible. I'm going to try my best to put on a good live stream for all of you, but yeah, fair warning. I am not feeling good today. Hopefully I'll wake up tomorrow and it'll be better. Usually it isn't, but I do have talk therapy tomorrow, so maybe Sean will fix me. There's no fix in this. FizzPV was first, Josh Bergeron was next, Nyafu, P Money, Whoop Fox, Frank Nicholas, Scotty Scott, Douglas 6, Matty Blunts, what's up, brother? How the hell are you? Zach, FizzPV again, Dinzel the Terrible, Tamava, Skull 901, Rain Squad, Metal Dirtskin, Denzel the Terrible, Cole Powers, Fizz, Sleepy CBR, Flakadelic. Thanks for coming, friends. If you want to talk directly to me, type CiottiFPV into your chat message. If you want to talk directly to anyone else in the chat, type their name. It'll light up in orange. They'll see that you're talking to them. They'll reply back to you. CiottiFPV.com is where you go to support me. This is a totally crowdfunded thing that I've got going in here. If you want to see me test more stuff, then support me, and I'll be able to afford that. At the moment, pretty much all of the money goes to the kids' mouth foods and power and internet and all that jazz. So, you know, it's been like that for a long time. I've always kind of run a tight ship. You guys are amazing in, like, hooking me up, sending me stuff when you're done with it and you don't feel like selling it. And so, yeah, I'm super, super, super lucky. But, hey, if you want to see more expensive stuff get tested, then you know what to do. Tell your friends, post your favorite clip or whatever from these live streams in your local group. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of affiliate links over on CiottiFPV.com. There's an Etsy store where you can buy a bunch of cool stuff. There's a Teespring store where you can buy apparel. There is a Fiverr page where you can work one-on-one with me. If you have a bunch of questions, feel free. If you want me to guide you through how to tune, how to build with the right parts that don't catch on fire, or help you fly better. Those are the 3 main things that I have on Fiverr. But you're buying an hour and half an hour of my time. If you have a bunch of stuff that you want to go through, it's all good. There you go. That's how you support me, my friends. Nyafu tagged me and said, will there be any fixed wing stuff? Nope. I've been loving my Chipito recently and would love to see your take on it. I don't really live in an area that has... I mean, I guess there's some parks, but this is not really like Atlanta is not like a fixed wing kind of area. And to be honest, I don't really have any interest in it. I love that other people do, and it's fun to chase wings around. But yeah, it's just not my thing. I'm all about like kind of focusing on FPV to try to get as good as I possibly can at this one sort of discipline. And so I'm always very careful to not stray too far away and to really just focus on flying FPV as much as possible. So sorry, brother, but I love that you're enjoying it. And there's a good amount of people that put wing content up on here on YouTube. Zach says, Yo, Ciotti, did I hear you mention that you can print some files? I need a case and a cover for my HDZERO monitor. Yeah, man, over on my Etsy store, there are a couple of different canopies for sale that are like $5, and then there's like a GoPro Hero print on there that I think is like $10. You can just order them, and then if you want like the protection that Fiverr gives you, you can order them and then just in the notes drop the links to what you want. Or you can just message me and send me the links. I'll look at them, take a guess at how... Well, I don't even have to take a guess. I can just dump them into the Bamboo Labs software, and it'll tell me how much filament they'll take to print and how long they'll take to print. And then I'll give you a price. But basically, if it's something as small as a canopy, it's going to be $5. If it's something bigger, like a GoPro mount... I don't have a single GoPro mount floating within arm's reach. Oh, well. But... you know what a GoPro mount looks like. That's going to be like $10. If it's even bigger than that, it could be like 15 or 20. So yeah, let me know. And let me know like what color you want. I have the full rainbow of colors. Every order that goes out via Etsy gets one of these Propodials. Here's the rainbow of colors that I've got. I actually have two greens, one of them opaque, one of them clear. And then I've got like the dark purple, and then this is like a purplish pink that is also opaque and not see-through. But yeah, these are all the colors I got. Let me know. It's probably easier for you just to message me, to be honest. Discord, Instagram, wherever. Email. Email is probably the worst spot to message me, just because I get like over 100 emails a day, and it's just an absolute slog to get through them. Danzel the Terrible says, what's up? Tamava says, evening all, posted in the Discord, but it just so happens that Ummagawd restocked. Get a Grinderino while you can, in case you need a spare too. Very cool. On CiottiFPV.com, I do have an affiliate link to Ummagawd's website. So if you do get yourself a Grinderino, it would be super cool if you hit my affiliate link at some point before you checked out, and I will get a very small percentage of your total order, but every little thing helps. The 2004 Aerolites are a good choice for the Grinderino. They are not the most durable motor, though. On mine, I've got X-Nova 1804s, which are the most durable motor. They are legitimately the most durable micromotor that I've ever run. If you get a Grinderino, get the small arms. The 5-inch arms are kind of silly, unless you're looking to do some kind of a long range setup. Then I guess get the 5-inch arms, but I still don't kind of understand that. DJI 04 compatible. That's pretty cool. There's the mounts. So I'm hoping that the mounts that I have on mine right now will work with the 03. We'll find out together. I know there's a bunch of... I actually, right before the stream, I went on Thingiverse, and I just searched for Grinderino, and there's a bunch of stuff on here. So there's more than likely... Look at this. Jesus. That's ridiculous. Oh my god. That's really cool. There it is. was about to say, can I get a half-decent picture of it? There we go. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm sure there's a set of mounts that'll work with the, there they go. Didn't have to look very long for that. So yeah, I might need to print this out. But I'm gonna try the mounts that I've got right now. That are currently on it, which I think Bob Noxious printed out for me. Hell, it might even be this. It looks a lot like this. It very well might be this mount. I might already have this. So yeah, there's that. Look at that. Runcam Thumb Pro mount. That's pretty cool. Oh my god, don't use these. That's Jesus, that's way too much material. That's gonna make the ends of your arms so heavy. I mean, if you're just gonna sit it on the shelf and not fly it, this is very, very cool. But if you're gonna fly it, don't use these. That's gonna add way too much weight to the ends of the arms. It's gonna kill the flight performance. Front bumper, another Thumb Pro mount. Good God, there's a lot of 3D prints for the Grinderino. Holy hell. Oh, you know what? I am gonna need some sort of an antenna holder. Balls. Yeah, so we won't be able to get it totally done tonight, but we can hopefully get a good chunk of it knocked out. And then for the time being, I'll probably just zip tie the antenna to one of the rear standoffs, or maybe not. Pretty easy for me just to dump one of these into the Bamboo Lab software and hit print. What a time to be alive! Do any of you that have a Grinderino, do you have a an 03 antenna mount that you really love by chance? I don't like these. This is too much. This is way too much TPU. Like, no. Hold a little tiny, like, the most minimal possible loops around the rear standoffs, and then a little bit of a tube to drop the antenna in, and that's it. This is insane to me to have a chunk of TPU that much, especially on a micro. This Grinderino is already kind of fat. I think it's like 300 grams all up with a 4S850. It's probably going to get a little bit, and that's with walk snail on board. It's going to get a little bit heavier with this setup. On a 3.5-inch prop, 300 grams is about right. This is much more like it. This is much more like what you want. Although even this is too much. This is too thick. There doesn't need to be that much thickness to the TPU. You want the TPU and the antenna mount to kind of give a little bit when you start smashing into stuff. This is better. This is more what I'm looking for. And then I just cut this down a little bit. But yeah, although this isn't even for this. What is this? Vifly Finder 2 holder? Why does it look like a big box? Why is it a box? That's odd. But yeah, I'm gonna have to find an 03 antenna holder, or just any antenna holder that has the big. Get out of here! Get out of here! That has the big tube for the tube. You know, tube. A kitchen caddy. Oh, good. This is really what I want, though. MABC. Where'd you get that from? I'll find it. It's in there somewhere. All right, let me get caught up on chat real quick here. FizzPV says, printing a big head to hold my goggles in my office. Wish we could convince the CiottiFPV to get his head scanned. He could print and sell them. That seems like a weirdly bad idea, just in the day and age that we're living in at this point. Leonard Edson says, I hear that. I'm also on the struggle bus today. All aboard, motherfuckers. Frank Nicholas says, I have several Revo Point 3D scanners I can arrange to loan. No, I'm not scanning my head. I'm not having some weird AI shit get a hold of my head scan and make me say even more awful things. I say enough awful shit as it is. The last thing I need is, is someone else being in control of the insanity that comes out of my face. JB Flies FPV says hi. Middle Derson says that 03 mount you're looking at is mine. I thought it might be. I had a funny. I saw the metal in the name of the designer, and I was like, is that Middle Dirt skin? Awesome, dude. 03 mount you're looking at is one of mine. One of the only popular things I ever designed. LOL. Yeah, those are the mounts that are on this already. Bob Noxious must have printed your mount out for me. So very cool. I've got the camera mount. That's pretty awesome. I gotta figure out. One of the things I've always struggled with the Grinderino is the middle center bottom stands really tall. Because this sandwich plate down, well, not the sandwich plate, the front plate is pretty thick. I gotta figure out how to get this thing up off the ground. Usually I just do some little foam pads, but with micros it's hard because the arms are thinner, and you put the foam pads on there and they just rip off immediately. So yeah, I gotta figure out a way of getting this thing off the deck. I figured it out just now. We're good. I'm gonna put, since it's a split base plate and the rear end is lower, I'm just gonna put one single foam bastard here. It looks like I had that at some point, but I apparently took it off. So yeah, I'm gonna put a big foam foot here. The 3D printed TPU legs are very heavy, and so I never recommend anybody do that. They're super handy. And for like a long range 5-inch rig, whatever, but for a micro, you can very easily add like 5-10 grams of TPU, and that's going to completely change the way the thing flies. So yeah, adhesive foam is always my go-to for any kind of landing feet, just because it doesn't weigh anything. If I'm going to add weight to a micro, it's going to be battery weight for you know what I mean, so that it actually gets some work done. Denzel the Terrible says, those type of cam mounts will fit on any frame as long as the standoff is the same size. No need to limit yourself to frame specific parts. That is true, but the Grinderino uses a thicker front standoff, which is why I was looking for a Grinderino specific one. I actually have a bag inside of my TPU box with like 30 different front standoff loop camera mounts that I'll typically go to, but none of them are for the bigger, thicker Grinderino standoffs. I actually really love that the Grinderino uses the thicker standoffs. I found those thicker standoffs many, many, many years ago, and they've always been kind of hard to get a hold of, and so I've like coveted a bunch of them. And when the Grinderino came out using the bigger standoffs, I was like, it's pretty cool. Where's I at in chat here? Mederson says, I have an 03 in mine. I ended up using the Flyfish RC antenna, and there's a mount for that one. Very cool. What's it, you don't happen to know what that mount, like what I need to search for in Thingiverse to find that mount, do you, Metal? Denzel the Terrible says, the tube and cup antenna for DJI is best. Makes the antennas last forever. Yeah, I've been really happy with there are some antennas that have the oh, you're talking about the big long TPU that then cups the top. Yeah, I mean that is certainly gonna protect the antenna or whatnot, but it's just too heavy for me. I've been really happy with these antennas that have the plastic tube here. And then you can get the mounts. The majority of the antenna mounts that I have are set up to grab the little thin wires here. There are other mounts that are thicker that are meant to grab this plastic tube. And I've had pretty good luck with those. You can still smash the head of the antenna and it explodes. But I don't fly freestyle all that much anymore, and so I'm not destroying many antennas, so it's yeah. Denzel the Turbo says, scan Teddy's head. Trying to get that dog to slow down for even a fraction of a second to scan his head would be all but impossible, unfortunately. That would be hysterical, though. Sleepy CBR says, "Do you still have those whoop stands for sale?" I do. I have a whole bunch of them. Didn't see them on your Etsy. Yeah, I'm super behind. I got all kinds of stuff. I got probably like 40 things that need to go up on the Etsy store. They're one of them. So, okay, T-Babu, just message me and we're gonna figure it out. Josh Bergeron says, OSD not showing up on camera and my controls don't work. Is my beta FPV AIO cooked? When you say your controls don't work, what's that mean? Like it won't arm? With all troubleshoots, the first thing you want to ask yourself, not the second thing, the first thing you want to ask yourself is, when did this start? And so that's my very first question for you. When did that behavior start? If it started when you slammed it into a tree at full stank, your AIO is blown up. If it started when you were in beta flight and like you updated beta flight or something like that, maybe your AIO is okay and you just fucked up. But yeah, when did the behavior start? And tell me a little bit more about the behavior. I don't totally understand what you mean. I understand OSD not showing up on the camera, but I don't know what you mean by your controls don't work. Make sure you tag me. FizzPV says, not to freak you out, there's already enough footage of both video and audio to fake you. Yeah, very true. Very true. I've had to have a couple of conversations with the family of, like, you know, my voice is absolutely out there on the internet, as is my face. You know, if you get a call, if you get even a FaceTime, make sure you ask me something about, like, you know, what happened yesterday or something like that. And we had a little discussion about that. Scary times, man. CiottiFPV Bruno says, front bumper and skids, get it a little off the ground. Yeah, I've got the front bumper. Which is what I just noticed, to get the front off the ground. I just need something in the back. I think it's just going to be a little piece of foam. If you don't have these, make sure you do. These, you can get these sheets of adhesive foam jib jabs off Amazon for like no money. And so, like, basically in the back here, which is raised because it's split base plate, right? Just take this guy and I'm going to put it up in the crevice here in hopes that it won't wreck the cooling of the AIO in there. Well, it's a little too long. Let's run it lengthwise. I don't want to run it lengthwise. Fuck it. Let's just put it right over the thing. 03 will stay cool, right? The 03 doesn't run hot or anything, right? It's fine. And so there we go. And so now it won't smack the screw heads against the ground and eventually strip them out. Look at that. We're already getting work done on the usually when you buy these you'll get like 4 of these sheets, like 2 or 4 of these sheets, and they'll last a long time. These are awesome. They don't even register on the scale. They literally weigh nothing, which is perfect. They do rip off pretty frequently, but when you buy them, you get a ton of them, and so it kind of is what it is. Let me start. I'm just going to start removing screws on this thing while I'm getting caught up on chat. B-Mud Skipper says hello. Hope all is well. Fractically says if I loan you a 3D scanner, only you would have the 3D model of your head. You'd be able to print/share a printed physical copy. Yeah, I don't know. It's just. I'm also like, I need to get caught up, yo. I am. So I've got the two. I've got the two AOS. I've got the AOS Cine 3.0 and 3.5 builds that need to get done. I need to fix the. I'm redoing the entire live broadcast setup, right? And so that's like a ton of work. And then I've got a couple of 5-inch builds that I've been dying to get done. I've got two 3-inch builds here on the floor. A Cinewhoop that I need to do for somebody that's been sitting here for way too long. There's that Walk Snail Tiny Whoop build that I didn't get anything done on. Yeah, there's so much. I gotta chill out on. I have a tendency to just like not think about that stuff, and like a cool new fun thing happens, and I'm like, oh, I'll get obsessed with this for a while. I need to chill with that. I need to, yeah. I also have to fix these goddamn LEDs. I figured out why these LEDs are blinking. I forgot to tell you guys. These LEDs are blinking because I was overloading the little controller board thing by just a couple LEDs. So in order to fix the problem, down this side of this 4x4 cube, I had to unplug it, and that made the rest of these stop blinking. So what I'm gonna actually do, I have an extra outlet back down buried behind here, and I have another one of the LED controllers. So I'm gonna right now all three of these IKEA cubes are linked together. I'm gonna disconnect this one from the rest of these, and this one will be on its own little controller down there. So it'll go up the side, across the top, and then down a little bit here. And then these two over here will just be their own single strip, and then I'll be able to have the whole thing. But right now, luckily it's off camera, but this vertical on this side is not on. It looks fine. Nobody but me notices, but I notice, and that matters. One of the motors on here is a little tight. This motor number 4 is a little bit. I noticed this last time I flew it. It just doesn't. See how it just kind of stops? It doesn't keep spinning for as long. You can also hear it when you spin the good ones. They kind of go pew. When you spin this one, it doesn't make a noise. See how quick it stops? It's hard for you guys to see. But yeah, I gotta figure that out. I might swap this motor out. This is the Grinderino build. It's on Xnova 1804s. At the moment, it's on 3.5-inch props. These are Gemfan 3523s? 3525s. Great propeller. A little bit hard to find. The 3520s are much more common. These Xnova 1804 motors are 3500 kV, which is a little bit low. Which is why I have it on these 3.5-inch props. I really wanted to have this on the T-Motor 3140 propellers. They are outrageously durable, but it just doesn't make quite enough thrust on those propellers. When you put it onto these 3525s, it's awesome. So yeah, unfortunately, if these motors were like 4,000 kV even instead of 3,500, it would be fine. But yeah, 3,500 is just a little bit too low. I could certainly run this on 5S, but I already have a ton of the 4S 850 batteries, and so yeah, here we are. I also don't know if this. Well, no, I could not run this on 5S because this ESC is not 5S capable. This is a 2 to 4S ESC. This is an old Speedix GS 25? It's a BL Heli 32. It's one of the first 20x20 BL Heli 32 ESCs, actually. So yeah, this is the build right now. It's got a 20x20 stack in it, Talon flight controller, Walk Snail V1, and ELRS. It's totally fine the way that it is now, but I am slowly moving away from Walk Snail. The quality difference, the DVR quality difference between Walk Snail and 03, it's night and day, you know? And so, yeah, Walk Snail's going to come out of this. It's had Walk Snail for a while, and it's been a blast to fly, but once I put 03 into the Quadmilla Siren, I was like, yo, okay, this is just outrageously good. So, yeah. This is going to get it too. And we're going to start cranking on that. So let me just keep futzing with this while I get caught up on chat. P1 says, wow, I was just thinking of getting TPU for my 3-inch twig that I'm building. Too heavy, you say? Okay. Yeah, man, like the feet TPU is super, super, super handy, and it protects the carbon fiber for sure. But like, think of it this way, right? Every single thing that you do with the sticks, other than throttle, right? Throttle has to move the entire weight of the entire craft. Everything else, yaw, pitch, and roll, what has to move the most? The ends of the arms, right? And so when you push into yaw, when you push into roll, it has to move all the weight on the ends of these arms and all the weight on the ends of these arms. And not only does it have to accelerate it, but then it has to stop it. And so you also think about like when you sit back into prop wash, the prop wash has all this momentum from all this weight on the ends, all the weight on the ends of the arms. And so it's really noticeable. Like if you've ever gone to a larger motor and all of a sudden the rig feels like really sloppy and lazy, that's what's happening. The larger motor is heavier and that weight is all the way out in the worst possible position. And so now you talk about arm TPU, and it's actually even worse because like the motor is in a little bit, the arm TPU is going to be even farther out. And so even adding like a gram or 2 grams to the ends of the arms multiplied by 4, because you're putting it on all 4 arms, right? It really does make a difference, and it makes everything worse. It makes the power to weight ratio worse because you're adding total, dead weight. It makes the PID loop function worse because it has more weight that it needs to accelerate and stop. And so yeah, it's a big deal. I always gravitate towards frames that have enough carbon fiber on the outside of the arm here to actually protect the motor a little bit. Frames that really like reduce the carbon fiber and then you have to run TPU just to get any motor protection. That's kind of rough. I would rather have it be carbon fiber. If I'm ever going to run the arm TPU, what I'll do is I'll only run it on the front 2 arms, and I only run it when I have a rig that I'm flying really low to the ground and I keep hitting the arms on the concrete, which eats away at the carbon fiber pretty quickly. But I always try to not run arm TPU because it makes the performance significantly worse. The live stream is running like absolute shit right now. Hold on one second. It might be because I have this Thingiverse page. Thingiverse seems to be very ad heavy and very, I don't know. Hold on. Let me look at activity monitor real quick. Windows server. Oh my god, Camo Studio. Oh wow, Camo Studio. What are you eating up 40% of the fucking price CPU for? Get the hell out of here. Okay. No more Camo Studio, bro. Jesus. That is outrageous. Okay. Well, that's gonna make this camera look worse. Maybe not. No, that still looks okay. Shit. Alright. Keep cranking on this. What am I doing here? What do I need to do? That needs to come off. These nuts need to come off. What was that about? Okay. Whoopfox says, you think a full-size Avatar would work fine on a Mobula 8, seeing that they sell it without the 03 but still has the mounts? What do you mean by full-size Avatar? What's that? That's a Walksnail product, isn't it? But that's the Walk Snail goggles. Oh, no. It depends on which avatar. Mini? Full size? Tell me more. Tag me again and tell me what you mean by full size avatar. Frank Douglas says, AI, it's not really intelligent. Can already watch some of your videos, produce a 3D model videos of you saying, doing whatever. Check out this awesome YouTube channel. Yeah, I've seen this shit before. It's horrifying. I don't know if that's the channel I've seen before, but boy, is that shit scary. Matt Erickson says, this is the mount. It's the short, stubby antenna. Dude, awesome. Thank you, man. I just downloaded the one mount. Yeah, no. That's too much. This is too much TPU for me. I'm such a snob. That would absolutely protect the antenna though, for sure. The mount that I downloaded that I'm probably going to use is this one. This is always what I look for in an antenna mount. As small as possible. YouTube, come on now. There we go. YouTube did the thing. I'm trying to find my place. Josh Bergeron says, yes, it won't arm. Telemetry connects. It started after swapping batteries, but I was slamming things before that. It's weird that telemetry connects. I mean, if you weren't in Betaflight doing something or other, you know exactly what's going on, unfortunately. What is happening? Are these nuts not the right? They're not. What? How is that possible? Oh, it's spinning the... Is it spinning the M2 screw? I think it's spinning the M2 screw. Yeah, it's spinning the M2 screw. Got it! Yeah, it's blown up. It's blown up. If you, like, weren't in Betaflight screwing around with stuff, and it, you know what I mean? Like, if you unplug a battery and plug another battery in... Well, unless you ran the battery down too low. Every once in a while on a Tiny Whoop, if you run the battery down unbelievably low, it'll like wipe all of or parts of Betaflight out. So like you might as well try to do a diff, back up your Betaflight, and you might as well try reinstalling Betaflight. You know, otherwise you're just gonna throw it in the goddamn garbage anyway. So yeah, give that a shot. That could be it. Probably not, but it totally could. And yeah, you might as well. Mick Bucas says, I have a 75mm 2S Whoop on 1003 18,000 kV motors. Where the hell did you find 1003 18,000s? Limited to 80%. It overheats when you first arm, then cools down. What's going on? I've checked everything physical. Might just be that... Oh, wait, 75mm. That's a big motor. You don't need that much motor for a 1.6-inch prop. Unless you're running like a quad or 5-blade propeller. Those motors are too big. 1003s are for 2-inch propellers. Yeah. Same question though. When did that behavior start? As soon as you put the motors on? I did not have very good luck with 1003 motors. Also, keep in mind a 1003 motor... 3, 6, 9, 10. It's only like 3.3 to 1 ratio. That is a motor that will get hot. Yeah. Too big of a motor. That doesn't totally explain what's going on, but check all the things. Try different propellers. The propellers that you're running might be out of balance right out of the bag, even when they're fresh. Spin the motors up, make sure none of the motor shafts are bent. Make sure the frame's not broken somewhere. Make sure that the AIO is floating and there's nothing pushing up against it, hard mounting it, right? And then throw it in the goddamn river. 80% motor limit. It should be fine. That shouldn't be too much of a motor limit. But like that's a really heavy motor, and you're not using all of the power that motor can produce with a regular 1.6-inch prop. I went down that road. I thought the 1003 would be like a nice big beefy super strong motor for a 75mm build, and it just wasn't good. I don't think I had overheating problems with it. Maybe I did though. Maybe I did. That was a while ago. But yeah, 1003 is a motor for a 2-inch build for an 85mm setup. Sporny says, I'm searching for a new frame for my build, 13,500 kV 1102 2S. What prop size could I go to at max, running a baseline with 45mm props to the moment? Thanks. Searching for a new frame. So, are you trying to stay toothpick? 1102 is perfect for 1.6 on tiny whoops. It's perfect for 1.6-inch bi-blades or even 1.6-inch tri-blades. You could certainly get away with 2-inch bi-blades. I didn't get them. A really lightweight 2.5-inch bi-blade might also work. So yeah, there you go. If you're keeping it in a toothpick frame, 2-inch bi-blades or 2.5-inch bi-blades are as big as I would go. I would not go up to a 3-inch propeller on an 1102. If you're moving it into a tiny whoop frame, yeah, the Gemfan 1610s. Well, your KV is too low for those. 13,500 kV, you would want a tri-blade. That would probably not have enough RPM for the Gemfan 1610 1.6-inch bi-blades. You would want to go with a tri-blade. And there's not a lot of great tri-blades out there. You would end up going. I don't know if Gemfan has a balanced tri-blade, so you're gonna go with the HQ ultralight tri-blades and then just try not to crash it super hard because they're a little fragile. Jamie Flies FPV says sounds familiar. I've got an AOS 5.5 and AOS ultralight Cine 8 parts sitting here to build, and an Odyssey Aerials Hades and Cosmo streamer box and field streaming setup to build. Yeah, that's the other thing that I have to do is get the Cosmo streamer setup going. Too much to do. I got to get some of that knocked out. I like to have stuff stacked up for me to choose from to kind of build for content for these live streams, but at the moment it's a bit much, and I also have a whole bunch of edits that I want to get done too, and I think it's all just kind of overwhelming me to the point where I can't choose one thing, and so I just do nothing, and then the queue gets worse and worse and worse. I had a couple good weeks. I got the 5-inch, my one digital 5-inch build freestyle build fixed up for the gig for from this last weekend, and I got that siren moved over to 03. I've gotten some shit done in the last month. It's been pretty good. I just need to keep that going. I need to figure out a way to kind of keep that momentum going. It's hard. Goddamn. Meta Ritson says, if you're up for some science, you could try the 3520, 3525, and 3630 props. I think mine is on 3630. I have tried all three of those and many more 3.5-inch props. I think I have all of the 3.5-inch props. I've tested them all. These 3525s I really like. The 3630s are a little bit heavier, and they don't clear with. That was was back in the Ripsqueak days. There was a set of arms that came out for the Ripsqueak that would clear 3.5-inch props, but they wouldn't clear 3.6-inch props. But yeah, and then Emax has my favorite 3.5-inch props, but they are T-mount only. The problem that I have with this build is that these X Novas are M5 mount only, so that really limits the prop selection for me. It's a good problem to have because these motors are unbelievably durable, and the M5 nut is like so much easier than T-mount. So it's I kind of did this on purpose. They do make these T-motor 1804 motors in T-mount, but those aren't the ones that I got. I got the M5 mounts. And so, yeah, my prop selection is a little bit limited with this rig. But that's okay. That's totally fine. This needs to come up and off of here. Wow, that is a short little antenna. Cable. The cable to the antenna is very short. Frank Nicholas says, Thingiverse is one of the worst websites I've ever seen. Great collection of models, but crappy design implementation of the website. Yeah. It's really annoying that, like, it has the most FPV stuff. Like, it's kind of not surprising at all, though, that, like, the jankiest of the 3D print websites is the one that has, like, 80% of the FPV models on it. It's that Stockholm syndrome getting us, you know? FPV beats us up and makes us expect everything to be a pain in the ass, and then, you know, we get on a website like Thingiverse and we're like, it ain't too bad. Frank also says the YouTube channel above is a hilarious parody music video making fun of the oh, nice. That's how you get me to click on it for sure. All right, cool. Caught up on chat. Let me sit in front of the hey, this is also a 6 battery live stream, so get a couple of batteries on the charger and fly right along with me when I get sick of working on this thing, which should take about 20 minutes. All right, here we go. Let's get some of this 03 work done here. And so now's your chance to ask me bench-related questions while we're sitting here. Can we see this? No, can't really see this anymore. What if I put it over here? Is that better? That's better. Although why is this so crooked? What the fuck? What the fuck? Hold on, let me. What the fuck? That's better. It's just gonna bounce back though, isn't it? I can kind of see it. All right, this is fine. Ah! What's happening? Okay. 03 into a Grinderino. Let's see how this goes. So I've already gotten a bunch of this. Okay. I really don't like this about the Walk Snail V1. I really wish that the that the top and the middle and the bottom were connected in some way. They use like the mounting screws to connect them. Which, like, I don't know, okay, let's save a little bit of weight, cool, but then it's just kind of obnoxious. I've got heat transfer, double-sided heat transfer tape on the bottom here, which is why this bottom piece is refusing to come off. So let me just try to pry this guy off here. It's nowhere near as sticky as VHB, so this shouldn't be too difficult. Wow. That shit's on there. Holy fuck. Okay. I've always wondered how strong this double-sided heat transfer tape is. And at moments like these, I'm actually pretty impressed with how strong it is. Definitely nothing like VHB. I don't know if I would trust this shit like a lot of people trust VHB in holding their VTXs on as like the only thing, but that was on there pretty good. I had to pry at that pretty hard. It's been through a bunch of heat cycles. You can see like the ribs for her pleasure in it, and so that obviously has helped its adhesion, but yeah, I don't know. I still wouldn't trust it. Let's clip this little zip tie off here. I was using these zip ties to hold these antennas to the standoffs as like a temporary solution. But, I mean, it's actually not a bad solution. It's very lightweight, and you can replace them. So yeah, nothing wrong with not having fancy TPU printed stuff. It's actually going to make the thing perform better to have kind of janky zip ties holding your antennas on. Just, you know, obviously make sure that the antennas are being held on in a way that they're not going to go into the props and get eaten up. And then you got to buy new antennas. All right, let's get this walk snail camera out of here. It serves its purpose. This has been set up like this since I think 2 rampages ago. So it's had this camera VTX setup in it for plenty of time. I don't feel like I'm you know, I always like to test stuff for a good enough amount of time where it's like, okay, yeah, that's a cool setup, and I can form like a really good opinion of it. I don't feel like I'm pulling this setup out of here prematurely. I think it was in here for the right amount of time. I saw what was good about it. I saw what I didn't love about it, which is basically just that the walk snail DVR is not quite good enough quality. Like it's good enough for freestyle and just for like looking at your own flight footage, but like for doing a proper edit that's really, really cool and has that super high quality kind of look to it where it's like, yeah, we don't even need 5-inch rigs. You know, 03 is obviously the way to go for that. And that's sort of the direction that I'm headed. I'm also basically just kind of moving away from walk snail. I've got too many different sets of goggles. The new DJI stuff is just too good to ignore. And so, yeah, I'm basically just moving towards DJI stuff, top to bottom, 03, 04, and the Vistas. And this way I can just have the Goggles 3. It's looking like Goggles 2 instead of the Integras, and away we go. It's super obnoxious to have like 6 different sets of goggles in here. I really, it drives me completely insane. So this is a part of the simplification process. And then what'll be great is that you know, we will lose DJI at some point here, and I won't be able to get any more DJI stuff, and eventually I'll have to move all the way back to walk snail. So that'll be great. I can waste a whole bunch of time. It'll be awesome. Looking forward to that. Okay, so I don't think this hardware that I was using is going to be long. Okay, well, there it is. There's the problem. 03 doesn't use M2 hardware. It uses M1.6 hardware because they would like us to just jump off of a building. Okay, so on the Quadmula Siren, I ended up doing the naked setup, and that came with the M1.6 screws that I needed. Didn't it? Didn't it? First things first, let's see if it fits in here. I'm sure that it does, but let's just check it. Yeah, nothing but space. Next issue, will the camera cord reach? It will, even if it's mounted in the back. Next issue, will the antennas reach? They will not. Okay, so yeah, I'm hosed already. This cable is not going to be long enough to reach the back. So I'm going to have to mount this. Well, I could do a different antenna. I would really like to do this antenna though. I just scored 4 of these antennas from Newbie Drone on clearance. So I'm really looking to use this antenna. The wires are a little bit too short on it, and so I'm going to have to mount this with this antenna at the back here, and then this is not going to be long enough. So I'm going to have to... Get out of here, fly! God damn it! This... Get out! Okay. So that's good to know. If I want to run this antenna, I'm going to have to extend this. This camera cable is going to be way too long, but that's fine. We'll just coil it up in the front here, as we do. The major issue is, how do I secure this down? So let me get my DJI box, because I think I still do have that little mounting piece that I've been trying to use for the last couple builds. Maybe this is my opportunity. So let's see here. I got this little box of DJI shit. And yeah, here's those antennas that I got. Here it is. Oh, and there's M1.6 screws in it. Oh, buddy. It's all coming together. I think I'm finally going to get to use this piece. And it kind of doesn't, like, this piece has got some weight to it. I think it's aluminum, but it does have some weight to it. But I kind of don't care, because this is the 3.5-inch prop rig. And so adding a little bit of extra weight is not the end of the world. I know I just spent like 10 minutes talking about how adding weight to the ends of the arms is a terrible idea. That the main reason is that it's adding weight to the ends of the arms. Adding weight in the central canopy is not nearly... It doesn't wreck the flight performance. It wrecks the power... It doesn't wreck the power-to-weight ratio. These motors make a ton of power. But it affects the power-to-weight ratio. But, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this little piece here, this is like a little mounting piece. I don't know where this came from, but it's specifically designed for the... Oh, sorry, you can't see it. For the 03. So, like that and that matches up with this and this. So it sits like that on the bottom there. And then it's cool. You got this little channel for your wires to go. It gives you M2 20x20 mounting here, or you can use the, well, I guess you kind of have to use the M1.6s to hold this damn thing to the bottom. So I am going to be using these M1.6s, and this frame does have 25.5 by 25.5 rear mounting here. So I might as well use just those to mount this. That's not the best idea, though, because there's going to be this big gap, so it's going to be trying to, like, pull this. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So, all right, that's one hurdle out of the way. And so I had these M1.6 screws in this. I really need to order a couple of sets of M1.6 screws at this point. Although this is the last 03 that I have, so maybe I don't. And it's not like you can buy the 03s anymore. So if I run these M1.6 screws here, I can just use them to pull this guy down into the bottom. What are they? Phillips? Ew, bitch. That's gross. These are awful long. Are these going to be too long? Why is this... What is this threading into? Hold on. Is that... Should that feel like that? That's what she said! Now there it goes. Okay. Let me just make sure that these aren't too long. Just put this one in here and see at what point it kind of bottoms out. Hopefully it doesn't, obviously. Still going. Oh wait, is it just spinning now? I don't think it's actually... Oh, it's better not to just strip this out. Why is it... Oh wow, it's not long enough. Son of a bastard. It's actually not long enough. Oh, dude. Okay, that's not the end of the world. That's going to add even more weight because I'm going to have to use the 20 by 20 mounting to hold this whole thing down. And then I'm going to use these screws just to hold this metal bottom plate to the bottom of the Bing Bong. Come on. All right. So here's what I'm going to have to do is put this plate on here and just use these screws that I'm sure that this plate came with. Now that I see that these screws are too short to actually run through any kind of a frame. And yeah, these screws are just going to hold this plate to the bottom of the 03'd. What is Why won't these go through here? What, they're like threading this. Let's see how many times I can drop this before I absolutely lose my mind. What I really like about this piece is that it gives you that channel to run wires through, although in this case... No, yeah, this case I am going to run wires down the middle there, so that's going to be really cool. All right. Yeah, so this guy's going to hang onto there. Yeah, all right, so that's where it starts the thread, which is pretty much the exact thickness of the base plate. So that's why it wouldn't jive there. This is gonna raise the 03 up a little bit. Let me take a quick look at something. Let me make sure that this isn't gonna make the 03 air unit too tall. Ooh, this don't feel good. Am I cross-threading this? Hold on, let's try this. Let's just take one of these screws and put it into the 03 and make sure that it's the right thread. Yep. Nope. Oh, it's bottoming out here. Well, that'll be fine. That's the thickness of this. Okay, no, this is fine. I think it's bottoming out against the top screw. I think the top screw is coming down and they're just hitting each other. So I guess I was cross-threading this a little bit. So hold on. This aluminum piece is the holes are too. There we go. This is fine. The holes are a little too tight for these screws. The screws are wanting to like thread into the aluminum piece, and that's just stupid. There it is. Okay. Yeah, we're good. That's fine. Hey. Yeah, see, like, this is stupid. There's no reason for this aluminum piece to be... for these holes to be... There it goes. That's just silly. Teleport FPV says, which DJI goggles do the race mode? Goggles 3 only. Tamava says, just double-sided taped my 03 in, no issues yet. Yeah, loads and loads and loads of people just use VHB to hold 03 and 04 air units in. I'm sure I would be totally fine doing that in this case, but it just creeps me out, man. I don't like it. You know, those air units are so expensive that I can't really afford to have one go firing out the side of the frame, you know, losing it in the woods or whatever. And so, yeah, I'm willing to sacrifice a couple of grams here to have a proper mounting setup. Also, I'm bolting a big chunk of aluminum onto the bottom of this thing. This will act like a heat sink to keep this 03 a little bit cooler in theory. So that's kind of cool. Ah, shit, man. This one's bottoming out before it tightens up. Let me confirm that it's bottoming out on the bottom of the top screw. So I'm just going to loosen up the top screw a little bit. And let's see if that... No. Oh, God, it's bottoming out on something else. That's scary. Maybe I'm not going to use this plate. What the hell? Okay. That's not good. Why would they design it like this? Hold on. Let me take a look at it with a little bit of magnification here. And so, yeah, there's absolutely a gap in the back here. What? Are you kidding me? Although when I push down on it, it doesn't go anywhere. Is there supposed to be a little gap? What the fuck? Let me loosen up the screws on the other side and see if that changes anything. Okay, so if I loosen these two up. But see, the aluminum plate doesn't want to move because these fucking screws are threaded in here. I'm going to have to file these holes out a little bit. But I don't think I have a file that's small enough to get in there. Let me just see, though. What if I crank this guy down now? Nope. I think it's bottoming on something on the inside of the air unit, which is a little scary. What the shit, man? I've been dying to use this fucking aluminum plate. Oh, man. I almost threw this plate out at one point because I couldn't figure out what it was for. This is back before I had 03's. But I held on to it, and then at some point I felt like a genius when I realized what it was actually for. And then I was all excited to use it on the Quadmilla Siren. But then it wouldn't work out for the naked 03 setup. And now it's starting to seem like I'm not going to be able to use it for this one either. Let's put this other screw on the other side and see if it bottoms out in the same way. Yep, sure does. What the hell, dude? What is this shit about? I mean, what's interesting is that the plate's not moving. Maybe it's just supposed to be like this. I wish these screws were a little bit shorter. Maybe I do need to order some M1.6. There's like a very obvious... I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. But like, there's very obviously more of a gap on one side than the other. See that? That shit ain't right. Know what I'm saying? That ain't right. No way that's supposed to be like that. I know what the problem is. This piece is not in there. Oh, wow, that looks great. Way to go, Logitech. Oh, it's Camo Studio screwing this thing up. Well, that's fine. Yeah, as always, user error. User error. Calvin says, saw the title of the stream. It just rolled off the top of the chat. Saw the title of the screen. I bought an 04 Pro Grinderino from Ummagawd and had to pull the cam for a DC 5-inch build. Put an 04 Air into the Grinderino. So much happier with the FOV. Oh, that's pretty cool. Because it got the props out of view, right? I didn't think of that. Yeah, this is going to have acres of propeller in view, isn't it? Yeah, we'll see how it is. Denzel the says, Ummagrip and a couple zip ties. Ummagrip? No, don't use Ummagrip. Ummagrip is meant... The bottom of Ummagrip is very sticky, but the top of Ummagrip is specifically designed to, like, not permanently hold stuff. Ummagrip is not what you want, in my opinion. If you're gonna, I mean, the zip ties in theory should hold it down, but boy, zip ties be breaking. You want VHB. If you're gonna double-sided tape a $200+ VTX in, at the very, well, not at the very least, but like VHB is the right stuff. It's very high bond, thus the acronym. Yeah, this is me being the big dumb. This will be fixed in but a second. All right, what else is happening in chat here? Scotty Scott says, I use alien tape and no screws on my Grinderino mount to 03, no problems after a year of flying. Yeah, I've heard alien tape is really good too. It's probably the same exact thing as VHB. CiottiFPV Bruno says, not sure you'll remember this, but I finished the Grinderino you used and as an example at Castle Crash. Finished the Grinderino you used as an example. What do you mean used as an example? Denzel the Terrible says, CiottiFPV being quite the whole connoisseur tonight. Indeed. I'm actually glad that that happened, because without this on here, this cable header could have popped off at any effing moment. So, yeah, this'll work a lot better. Nope, it goes on this way. Okay, cool. Yep, that looks a lot better already. And I think now that I've put these screws in and out a couple times, maybe this little aluminum piece will be loosened up now. Not at all. I still have to thread the screws through the thing. What? Why? Why would anyone design it that way? All right, so let's see. Well, it's still bottoming out on something, but I don't care, because there's not that big awful gap anymore, so it's fine. It's gonna be fine. The bottom plate, even when I didn't have that piece in there, it wasn't like wobbling around, so it's being pulled down. Well, it's being pulled up into the 03 hard enough where it's gonna be all right. Tamava says, tape plus a single zip tie frame even has the perfect groove for the tie. You guys can double-sided tape and zip tie whatever you want. I'm not doing it. I'm a professional. I'm a professional asshole. Denzel the Trouble says, seriously, damp Ummagrip and a zip tie. Damp? You get the Ummagrip wet? What? The hell? Alfaxis says, the new light blue is very sticky. Yeah, fresh Ummagrip is very sticky. But nowhere near as sticky as VHB. Alright, last one. Calvin says, I felt like I was wasting money on, come on, the 04 Pro with the frame and props in view. The smaller FOV of the 04 Lite is way better. Oh man, I'm gonna run into frame in view, aren't I? Shit, I forgot about that with the Grinderino. The top plate is angled in the opposite direction. Fuck's sake. Whatever. I'm here. Let's put it in and wiggle it around and see what happens. Denzel the Trouble says, dampen the Ummagrip, gets gluey, zip tie makes it. Can you stop trying to convince me to use Ummagrip as double-sided tape? A, Ummagrip is expensive. B, VHB is the best. C, don't tell other people what to do. Cool. That is good to go. And now we got a nice little channel to run a cable through. Speaking of the cable, I think that might be the next thing that I need to do, is make a longer cable that's going to reach all the way back where this guy needs to go. This is, of course, like 2 millimeters too short, which is absolutely infuriating. But not the end of the world. We'll make a little, well, I mean, I do have 2 of these 04 bastards. I could just cut one of these up, and then I would have a black plug on it, which would be kind of nice. I just went through this with the other one too. It feels super weird to cut one of these up because these come with the 04 Pro. And, like, yes, I have 2 extras, but, like, if I had 3 extras, it would be one. No, I'm going to hang on to these. I have one of these cable kits. Oh, wait, no. Hold on. I have a whole big... Oh, wait, no, even better. Even better. I have this bag of... Here we go. This is what we're doing. I have this bag of way too many cables. Let's... There might even be one in here that's ready to go. That ain't it. Yeah, let me use some of these. This is absurd to have this many. Okay, how many pins is this? 6? This looks like a 6-pin cable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay. So, let's see here. It feels insane to not use these. There's a 6. I can see it from here. If I could only grab it from here. There we go. Okay. Let's just check it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Okay, and it's long enough, and it's got 4 cables. Beautiful. They're probably not in the right locations, so let's fix that first, and then we'll cut it to length. And away we shall go. CiottiFPV Bruno says, I'm also every day with Bruno. Oh. Yeah, you are. I would have been able to guess that. During class you held... oh, yeah. You used the solder joints as an example of a possible failure point. It's pink, LOL. Nice. Glad you got it done. Yeah, that's right. You were working on that. I remember. Frank Nicholas says, alien tape is clear and different than VHB. I only see gray VHB. Maybe there's a clear VHB. Yeah, no, the alien tape is definitely different. It's just, like, it seems to be as strong from what I've heard, is what I was kind of getting at. The alien tape is... There's a Scott tape. So, like, VHB is some kind of foam. It's like adhesive and then foam and then adhesive. The alien tape, as well as this Scott Extreme Duty tape that I got at some point in my life... it's like a gel. It's like a clear gel. But yeah, they both seem to be like incredibly sticky, which is what I was kind of getting at. So yeah, I've heard good things. You know who tipped me off to alien tape was Zotec actually. Zotec has Whoopgate tape that I believe is alien tape or some very similar version to alien tape. And yeah, it works really well. Okay, let's get these plugs in the right places. So with the pins facing downwards, we've got power, ground, and then white and blue. So everything is wrong. Okay. So the ground is in the wrong spot. Here we go. Here we go. You are going to take your infinitely sharp, stabby tweezers, and you're going to go... You're going to hold the wires down with your offhand, and you're going to take this guy, and you're going to go kind of like at a 45 degree... You need magnification to be able to do this. You will not be able to do this properly without at least, I would say, like 2.5x of magnification. Being able to see what you're doing to move these pins around is the main thing. You're going to come in at a 45 degree angle and you're going to put just one side of your tweezers under just the plastic latch. The metal crimped on part has a little raised bit, and that's what catches on the metal latch. Don't push the metal bit down. Pull the plastic latch up. You only have to pull it up the tiniest little bit, and then it'll just pop right out. And so ground needs to jump one over. And so I'm just going to do that right now. Of course, that's going to be a pain in the ass. Make sure that the little latch, you're putting it up. If you put these things upside down and you cram them in there hard enough, they can get stuck, and it's a nightmare. So take a really close look with your magnification at the little metal bastard, and you'll see the little latch. If you're trying to put it in here and it's really fighting you, take it back out and just confirm. And then what I'll sometimes have to do is use the sharp-tipped tweezers and just push the metal part in. Don't push the wire in if it's being a pain in the ass. And then with magnification, you'll be able to see that little metal latch go far enough in here, and then you're good to go. I'm going to leave this white where it is. It's kind of annoying that I don't have a red wire in this, but it's fine. No, we're going to add a red wire to this because I have this handy dandy little kit of just the bare wires. And so let's just grab one of the red ones from out of here. It comes with tons of them. And that should be long enough, right? Let's just make sure. Oh, yeah. Yep, that'll be plenty long. Cool. So we will use a red for that. I was just going to, like, use this blue instead of the red, but next time I take this thing apart, that would be super confusing. And so, yeah, we'll do it the right way. And so now we've got this red guy. We're going to put him all the way in the outside. Take a look at it, find that little latch, and then the latch is going to work together with the plastic latch. And so now, because you've lifted that plastic latch up, you now want to push it back down. It kind of springs itself back down, but always take a split second with your fingernail just to push these plastic latches back down to make absolutely sure that they're going to catch the little metal latch. So we've got red, black, white, and then we've got a gap, and then blue and yellow. We don't need anything in these two spots, so we're going to pull both the blue and yellow out, and then we're going to move one of them over, and then I'm going to throw the other one in the ocean so that a small animal can choke on it and die. That's the goal here. And so you just lift the plastic up very gently, pull out on the wire, and there you go. There is a little bit of a technique to this, for the record. And so this silicone grippy mat is key to be able to do this, because the plug is not trying to move around when I'm digging in there. But also you want to have the wire that you're pulling out like ready to go. Like get your I'll get like my thumb down on the other wires, and then I guess not my thumb. I guess I'm doing my middle finger down on the other wires to hold this flat down, and then I've got my index finger and my thumb on the wire that I'm going to pull out, so that all I have to do with my right hand is push down, dig under, lift the latch up a little bit, and then I've got these two fingers ready to just kind of pull on the wire real gentle. Don't get frustrated doing this. And there it is. This is not easy to do. This took me a while to kind of get good at this over the years. I'm going to use blue instead of yellow. What the hell? White then blue? White then blue. Look at that. I just happened to do this one just happened to turn out exactly the same as that other one. Metal latch facing upwards. Plastic latch facing upwards. And sometimes you can push it in by the wire. Sometimes it'll kind of fight you. If it fights you, just, there you go. Push it in by the metal part. And then you're going to look. So there's like the plastic latch, and then there's a little bit of a gap, and then there's the front. In this little gap here, that's where that little metal hook bastard is going to be. And so you need to look in there, and you need to make sure that all four, in this case, of those little metal hook bastards are in that little area. And then one last time, I'm going to push down on the plastic latches. And so, like, the plastic latch sits like this, and then the little metal hooker is like this. And so if those plastic latches are up, that little metal hooker can slide out of there. And so you want to make sure that you push those plastic latches down so that the metal hook bastard will get in there. CiottiFPV Bruno says, my issue is always putting them in upside down. LOL. Yep. You make sure you don't put them on there upside down. They do not like it, and you can very easily get them stuck. That's where the magnification helps. Like, I used to have such a hard time doing this until I got the nerd goggles. And with the nerd goggles on, this is, like, easy to do. Nerd goggles, pair of sharp, stabby-ass tweezers, and a silicone work mat, and like you just saw. I'm talking you through it, and it didn't take me very much time. When I have to do this alone without the live stream on, I can just rip right through it. Mudderton says, there's definitely a clear VHB. That's all I've ever used for race wire and the like. Very cool. Frank Nicholas says, exactly, I find VHB spongy, alien tape is rubbery. Yeah, for sure. That's it. Those are good words to describe them. Denzel the Terrible says, don't tell me what to tell other people what to do. Indeed. All right. The little metal hook bastards are good to go. We've got our wire. Let me fire up the soldering iron real quick here. We'll remove the plug header. I'll try to remember where all the different colors of wire go. Solder this one on. And then I think we're going to have this done. It's 11:30. I think we're actually going to do the full thing that I put into the stream title for a change. Although now that I've said that, there's no way in hell that that'll actually happen. So good job, donkey. Let's get this receiver up out of the way. We're going to get these wires stood up here. I'm going to remove... no, I'm not. I'm going to leave that. That's fine. That's fine. I'm going to put a little bit of flux on these joints. Just a tiny little bit. They look like they've got some residual flux still on them from whenever I worked on this before, but it's always good to just add a little bit extra. There we go. This is a flux paste syringe. This is what you want. This is the absolute shit. It will make your life so much easier. Soldering iron into the brass steel wool. Wiggle it around. Spin it around. Get the tip nice and clean. Somebody please type into chat blue, white, black, red. Blue, white, black, red. Blue, white, black, red. Here we go. Blue, which is R4. White, which is T4. Black, which is ground. And red, which is V+, which means full voltage. Blue, white, black, red. Thank you, off-axis. And so now, here's our longer one. This is actually a little bit too long. I jumped the gun on that. So this plug is going to sit back here like this. I should have cut this down first before even turning the soldering iron on. So this plug is going to sit all the way back there like that. And then so these, okay, so the red wire is just barely long enough. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to cut all 4 of them to the length of the red wire. And then I'm not giving myself a lot of extra room here, but I have just enough. It's going to be totally fine. So there we go. And now I need to strip and tin these little shits. All right, get these guys out of here. Cool. So I really like stripping these tiny little 30 gauge wires with my fingernails. This way I don't have to worry about nicking any of the inner strands of wire. Some 30 gauge wire only has 8 inner strands of wire. And so if you nick one of those 8 inner strands, you're going to reduce a lot of the, there's a, what's that, like 12%? I fucked up. I fucked up. I did not drive my... This is the problem with doing it with your fingernails. I did not drive my fingernails in hard enough, and I've now stretched the silicone all the way up over the end of the wire. Here's how you can sometimes fix this, is with a little bit of heat. Let's see if I get away with it. Shit sticks. Ah, balls. So I did rip a little bit of the silicone off, but the rest of the silicone is now stretched up. And so what I'm trying to do is line... Oh, man. If you're going to use your fingernails, make sure that you pinch tight enough so that you don't yank on the silicone like I just did. So now I'm just trying to line the silicone up, and as I hit it with heat, it's going to try to shrink back. Almost there. I almost have it. Come on, you little bastard. Get back in your home. You're not too good for your home, are you? So yeah, if this does happen, this is how you fix it. You got to kind of get it lined back up, and then a little bit of heat will cause this silicone to want to come back down the wire. Ah, shit. And so one of the strands of wire just peeked through the silicone, so now I have to... I don't have to, but I'm going to strip a little bit more of the silicone. I'm really pinching the shit out of my fingernails this time. And so now we're good, but what's going to happen is there's going to be too much wire exposed. Nah, not bad. We got away with it. Cool. Yeah, that's not too much wire being hanging out there. We good. Yeah, it is. Now that I'm pulling back on the silicone with my fingernail, this is too much wire poking out for my admittedly very high standards. And so I'm just going to cut a little tiny bit of this, but I just want to keep... If you don't push back on the silicone like this, as soon as you put a soldering iron on this, it's going to do this to the silicone. So you always want to pull back on the silicone a little bit. This is going to be fine. I just want to cut a tiny little bit of this off. I'm cutting like maybe 2 millimeters of this off. This is no big deal. I really don't like when there's a bunch of exposed wire up against the solder joint. I like to get the silicone butted right up against the side of the PCB. So, there we go. That's not too bad. I only had to remove the tiniest little bit there. This will be fine. Okay, cool. The other ones, I'm not going to make that same stupid mistake. And so, here we go. We're going to come in here. And actually dig my fingers into it this time and not be lazy. Son of a bitch, it happened again. God damn it. It's not as bad this time, though. Hit it with a little heat to get the silicone to shrink back. There it goes. Yeah, totally fine. Nah, I gotta do the same thing again. I gotta cut just a little bit of the wire off. Okay. Well, the power and ground wires are now the exact same length because I just did that. The other super quick, super easy way of doing this is with your flush cutters. I'll do this for the other two. You just want to be incredibly gentle with them. Basically, like when you see it squishing the silicone, like that's it. You want to stop right there. And then you can, if you have enough magnification, you can actually look to make sure that you didn't nick any of the inner strands of wire. It's not the end of the world if you do that, especially on, in this case, the white and blue, which are not carrying voltage or ground. But you've also made it a bunch weaker, right? You've made it like 12% weaker or whatever, and that's not great. And so, yeah, there we go. I don't know. It's weird. It's like weirdly safer to do it with your fingernails, but kind of not in case what just happens. Develop your own method of doing this, though. I don't know if there's necessarily like a right and a wrong way. If your fingernails are mangled like mine, maybe don't use your fingernails to do it. You guys are good at building, though. You know what's what. All right, let's get these tinned. Mutterson says, is that your last Heli Nation Talon rip? No, I think I have one, maybe two more. I bought a lot of them at one point. When I realized that they were going to be going away, I bought a whole shitload of them. I think I bought like 5 of the damn things. This is like years ago, though. My God. Heli Nation went away ages ago, unfortunately. Don't do it like this. This is a stupid way of doing it. Use your OmniFixo. But I guess just to prove the point that you can just use stuff that's laying around. There you go. Here's using a motor case to tin some wires. Do as I say, not as I do, and all that. You know what I mean? Okay. Soldering iron on one side of the exposed wires, and then you're going to push the solder from the other side. I need a new soldering iron tip bad. I kind of want to keep using this one until it breaks, though. Look at. I don't think you'll be able to see it. You won't be able to see it, but it's. Oh boy, is this sketchy. There's a big dent in it. I'll take a picture at some point and show you guys. It's ridiculous. All right, this is good. Here we go. What was it? Blue, white, black, red. Look at me. Blue, white, black, red. Blue, white. Oh, and that's exactly how the plug sits. That's pretty awesome. Boy, is that satisfying. All right, so we're going to get the plug. Put the plug right there. And then we don't need any extra solder because the pads are tinned and the ends of the wires are tinned. We're going to take super fine tipped tweezers to control the wire, and we're going to go left to right so that we're not crossing over ourselves. Let me get this white wire out of the way. All right, so blue first, and I'm trying to butt the silicone up against the PCB. And we're going to be patient and make sure that we've got the wire in the perfect position before we come in with the heat. You're not going to use the tip of the soldering iron to move the wires around. You're moving the wires around with your offhand. And so there's the silicone there, wires in the right spot. Push it down into the pad. All right, that's not quite there. I like to get the wire as flat on the pad as I possibly can. Right now what's going on is the wire is kind of sticking up. And so let's come back in here and rework it real quick. And I fucked up. That's okay. Come right back in. I see what's going on. My tweezers are pushing up against this nut. All right. I'm putting my ring finger down on the flight controller just to kind of stabilize my hand. And that's much better. You want to get the wire as flat on the pad as you possibly can. That way if the wire ever gets pulled on, it's trying to pull the pad completely sideways versus trying to peel the pad off. There's the white. Here comes the ground. Ground always is going to take a little bit more heat because it's tied into the ground plane. And then voltage. Oh my god, that just like... I got a little lucky on that one. It was just like in the exact right spot and it just fell right in there. So there we go. Let me show you what I mean when I say flat on the pad. See if this will, you know, I'm going to have to launch Camo Studio. Come on. You're going to take forever now? Okay. Wait, no, it's on autofocus. What the hell? Okay. Here's what I mean when I say flat against the pad. What does this camera look like? Shit. I have this camera set up. I manually set this camera up. Well, yeah, you can see it there. See how flat on the pad those are? If those wires get pulled, it ain't ripping those pads off. What is it? The white balance? It's all jacked up? Yeah, it's the white balance. It's all effed up. Although I'm actually kind of fine with the white balance being a little bit weird. What else is... It's the exposure. Yeah. Right. The exposure I have set to manual. I'm going to leave that exposure on auto. So there you go. And you can see how the silicone is butted right up against the PCB. That's going to prevent... Like, if you have a bunch of exposed wire there, that's where it's going to bend. And it's going to bend, and it's going to break one of those wires. And then it's going to break the second wire, and the 6th, and the 7th, and the 8th wire, and then it breaks off, and you're donezo. So yeah, get that up against there. Just gonna leave this out of focus like that. That looks great. I'll actually put it back to autofocus. There we go. All right. Bench cam, we got this set. We got just enough wire length. We can even maybe spin this wire once or twice around to keep it from being all gangly and janky. So let's try that and see how much shorter it makes it. If you spin these from the plug like this, it'll usually keep the wires perfectly like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, so this is going to sit back here. Which direction are these pins? These pins are down. Okay, so this needs to be pins down, which is exactly the way that it is right now. So that means like that. And then, all right, cool. I don't totally trust just my memory of doing this last time, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to search for DJI 03 wiring, and then we're going to go to images, and we are going to click on this one. Show me? Yeah, it does. Okay, so that is the 03, and so on the 03, there's the plug header, and voltage is off on the right. Yep, and then ground, and then, yep, perfect. Okay, so we're good. Good to go. Denzel the Turbo says, wait, how do you dent your soldering iron tip? Dude, I have no idea how this has happened. Hold on, let me show you. I just noticed this one day. I have absolutely no clue at what point this happened, but like, look how ridiculous this looks. Hold on, let me clean the shit out of it. I mean, I have used this soldering iron tip a lot. I've tried not to use it for things other than soldering, but I have. I've used it to heat things up here and there. Not a lot, but I'm assuming that's where this maybe happened, but like, this is weird, dude. Here, look at this shit. All right, you filthy animal, focus. Don't make me launch fucking Camo Studio again, please. It's the most contrasty thing in the world. Focus on it, you idiot. Look at this. Ready? Look at this. I tried to trick it. Did you see me? I tried to trick it. Come on, focus close. You fartbag bastard. There it goes. Okay, ready? Look at that! Look at that, yo! How the hell does that happen? Look at it! What the hell? I noticed it like 2 weeks ago. It's insane. I'm going to keep using it until it breaks. Isn't that wild? How the hell does that happen? But yeah, I should have replaced this tip a long time ago. So it's fine. I've had this soldering iron for shit, man, 4 or 5 years at least, maybe longer. So yeah, this tip has lasted a long time. It's just deflated. Bernard Fox says, I have a new station and iron if you want it. No, I'm good. I just need a replacement tip, man. Good to go. I actually love this. Yeah, it's not a dent. It's worn down. I don't know why I called it a dent. It looks like a dent. I really love this soldering station. This is a Weller 1010. I love the color of it. I love how simple it is. I love that my dad used to use one, and I grew up with this sound, and now I get to make this sound every time I put it away in the stand. Yeah, my dad had a Weller growing up. It was an older Weller that was like, it was that old school, computer beige color, was the Weller that my dad had growing up. I absolutely love this, this blue. The Weller is like this color blue, and I even found these, well, that looks gray, but well, I can just go like this. It doesn't really look very blue. The white balance is off on this camera, so it doesn't look as blue it is. But yeah, as blue as it actually is. But just take my word for it. It's like an old school blue. I know that sounds weird, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, picture like an old school light blue. That's exactly what this is. It's so cool. I love it. It's got a nice vintage feel to it. And it just works. Heats up quick. That's all you really need. Little too expensive, to be honest. The Hacko that Joshua has on his shopping list is a better deal. But, you know, this was only like an extra $20 or something like that, and I made this cable too short. You son of a bitch. It's because I used that short red wire. Hold on, let me take the twists out of the wire. But that's not going to be enough. I made the cable too short. Oh my god. I forgot when I was measuring the cable length out to push it down. That uses a surprising amount of extra cable. All right, let's plug it back in here. And bad news coming in 3, 2, 1. Yep, it's too short. Sweet. That's just terrific. All right. Well, god damn it, dude. Right. Screw you, world. Screw you. Dave S has a soldering tip that eroded like that. That's a good word for it. It eroded. Looks like it was exposed to acid flux and not properly cleaned after use. Yeah, I do use acid flux. Brian Fox says, rebuilt Mob6 HDZERO with We Bleed Vegan 802 25,000 Zoetti motor living. You do not, but those 802s are kind of heavy, and 25,000 kV is a little bit low on the kV, actually. I mean, fly it. Definitely don't motor limit it. Fly it. But if it's too heavy, if the runtime is too short, and or it doesn't have enough power, you want 702s, 30,000, 32,000 kV or more. Let's fly a couple batteries, and then we'll shut this down. It's 11:57. I've got a tattoo battery that's starting to puff up. Let's see how bad it is. Or isn't. Here we go. What are we going to fly? Let's fly... the Air 65 converted over to 1.4-inch props. This is a prototype. No, it's not. This is a Air 65, the V2, the current one, that I swapped over to a Meteor 65 Pro frame, and it's got the Gemfan 35mm S propellers on it. There's a whole bunch of hair in this motor. Let me get at least this main chunk of it out of here. There we go. Okay. Oh boy, I cannot believe that I can totally believe that I cut that wiring harness too short. I knew it was going to be close, but I was like, nah, I'm sure it'll be fine. Poofy tattoo battery first. God damn it, dude. Unreal. I don't have the other mic set. Oh, look at this. This is all jank. There we go. It's all out of focus, but whatever. It'll just be a blur anyway. Hey. All right. Oh my god. No, no, no! Wow, that almost fell down back behind that shelf! Oh god! Easy! Oh no. Whoo, that was kind of cool. Let's do that again. Yeah, it drops like a stone. I gotta get a little bit more upwards throw. Ah! I tried to really cheat it. One more time. Nope, I'm cheating it too much and I'm hitting the top of the gate. Yeah! That's looking cool. Where's the spaghetti monster? Oh god. Oh god. He's been hanging out here on the stairs a lot lately. He's not there though. Where is he? There he is. You lazy little bastard. Look at you. Look at that face. Wow, man. Not protecting me from the tiny whoops at all. Just laying up there like a slob. Oh! I hear him. There he is. I'm going to try to chase him down the stairs. Here he comes. Oh my god, look how sleepy he is. Look how sleepy. Look at that tired dog. Yeah, this battery is hammered ass. 2 minutes and 3 seconds, and I didn't really push it all that hard either. And this goggle battery's going dead. This battery is being retired. See you later, friend. Thank you for your service. Here's a fresh battery for comparison, while these goggles just beep and beep and beep and beep and beep. Oh my god. No! Stop! Stop beeping. Come on now. Oh yeah. Oh, boy. A lot more power. Hey. Oh, nope. I don't know why I thought I could do that. Hey. Wow. What a difference. What? Something has happened. There's been an issue. I think it threw a prop. Hey, Pachuco. Yep. No. Uh-oh. Did it finally die? Has it finally kicked the bucket? One of the motors ain't spinning. What? There's a big chunk of hair around the one motor, and it was just starting to oscillate, and it was about to kind of fly away. Could be from all this hair here, maybe? Probably not. Let's see. Alright, let's see if that's any better. Yep, all better. That was weird. Ah, what am I doing? Ah. Oh. It was, that first battery was going so well. Get out of there. Yeah! Teddy was spectating. You see him? What's up, small dog? What are you doing? What's over there? Get out of there. Oh, God! That picked up some steam. This thing makes really good power. These are the 27,000 kV Beta FPV 0702s. And on these bigger 1.4 inch props, they make some fucking power, bro. This thing always blows me away at how much stank it's got. This is actually one of my favorite of the 1.4 inch builds. Get through all four of those. Thank you. About time. Oh, brother! That looked amazing. Oh, I missed it that time. Oh. Now it's just a big mess. Hey. Whoa. Uh-oh. Can you... Beta FPV, can you make... Oh, okay. Can you make something that I can come out of turtle mode? Okay. A little bit quicker. I don't know what's happening with this thing. This is the most... This is the strangest... These new current generation of Beta FPV AOs do the strangest things sometimes. Oh, I don't know what I was doing there. I kind of wanted to go into a backwards dive in that. But, like, I got all carried away. Hey! There it is. 2 minutes and 43 seconds. That's a lot better. That's what happens when you put a battery on that's not swollen up to the size of a Bing Bong. FPV says, does the FXT use the bigger normal camera plug? Killed my CO3 again, going on a 2G4 board. The FXT doesn't come with a plug, but if it did come with a plug, it would be the bigger plug. It wouldn't be the stupid little CO3 and newbie drone plug. But yeah, I think the FXT comes bare wires. But like I said, if there's a picture of it and there's a plug on there, it's definitely the bigger plug that'll plug directly into a 2G4. And so yeah, you'll be alright there. Cool. Fly the other 4 batteries for me, friends. I'm just gonna do those 2. I'm gonna go try to get some rest, and hopefully tomorrow life will look a little bit less distressing, let's just say. Thanks for hanging, friends. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. We'll do a good Whoop Wednesday. I'll be in better spirits by then, I promise. I don't promise. Every day is a complete roll of the dice when you've got severe clinical depression and generalized anxiety disorder. Yay! Here's some more flying from Castle Crash. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for supporting CiottiFPV.com. Yeah, love you. Bye. More Castle Crashing. See you.